Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I've talked about this thing called energy before, but today we're going to really dig into it. And if you're looking for certain things in your life, I feel that they're at your fingertips. You have to bring them to you. You have to attract them with the right energy. How do you do that? That's just a piece of how this whole energy thing works. I'm not making this up. Some dude named Einstein talked about it a long time ago, and then we kind of like brushed it under the rug, and then we started realizing a little bit more that this thing is real. It actually works. So she helps people with that and so much more, helping to empower them through coaching, specifically women transitioning from the military. But this energy thing applies to anybody. And she is our professional of the year, Renee Jones Hudson, back with us. How you doing today?
I'm good. Hi, Steve. Thank you for having me again. So excited to be here.
Wonderful to have you back. I ought to say happy birthday. I know your birthday was over the weekend, right?
Thank you. Yes, yes,
Cool.
it was exciting.
Yeah. So let me just ask you this question. A lot of times when we have a birthday, we think, oh, it's another birthday. What have I accomplished? What's happening in my life? Did you have that, little reflection?
I actually it was just going to be another day for me. Normally my husband and I, we go out and eat, have a dinner, and that's usually it. But he had a surprise birthday planned for me, so that was exciting. It was really exciting to just have the surprise and it not be another day.
Hmm. So it felt special for a change.
It did. It was my first birthday party ever, so that
Wow.
was really nice.
Nice, nice. Well, you deserve it. There's, you know what? We all deserve so many things in life. And sometimes we don't think we do,
Yeah,
but those things can be there, especially with energy. So
yeah.
basically, for anybody that's not really plugged into this whole thing about energy, how would you define it?
So I would define energy as, it's almost like a give and take, right? However your state of being is, that's what you're gonna always attract. So whether you're happy, you'll receive happy responses, happy moments. It'll just play back. It's like a mirror, right? It's like a boomerang. Whatever you're putting out is what you're gonna get back.
Yep. Yeah, and I've often heard that too. And for those people that say, looking for a relationship, and it's like, I don't know why this guy showed up again. Why am I stuck in these relationships? It's like one right after another. There's no good men out there. Well, would you say that that person is attracting that and doesn't even know that they're bringing that into their lives?
Yes, so I would say that, and I'll say it like this, and it doesn't just apply to like a relationship. I think it applies to like everything in life. I remember when I was just about to retire from the military, I would just have the same type of people come to me, and I would be burdened with like so many issues, and I'm like, why is this happening? Why does this always like, why am I always attracting the same people? So I question it, but I wasn't very clear on the whole energy thing, but I always was just curious, why do I keep attracting the same people or the same things keep happening to me? And it wasn't until like, I got into my own growth, pursuit to grow more, learn more, understand more, coaching, really, that I understood it really, whatever you think, and it's not a conscious thought all the time, it's subconscious, right? It's unconscious thought. It really comes back to you, and you just have to be in a space where you're like, you know what? Let me check my thoughts. I believe it's a heart centered thing too. Sometimes, you have to check what's in your heart, like, because that also can come back to you without you even recognizing, you know, that you're really putting that out there, that kind of energy. And it shows up in the type of responses you're getting from people. And I'm not going to say it's always that, but I always say everything starts with you. So check do your self check, you know, and then you're like, okay, maybe or maybe not.
I've done this before. Once I figured this whole energy thing out, I'll go to the gym, and as I'm walking in, I'll say, raise your vibration. Because what is energy? It's
Right.
a vibration. Same
Yes.
thing. And by the way, for anybody that's listening or watching and thinking, these two people are like, woo woo, look at this crazy stuff out there. How many times has somebody said, hey, positive vibes coming your way, for that surgery, or I'm praying for you? You're sending positive energy, which knows no time and space. So somebody could be 5 states away, and you could even think it or even just send
Yes.
it in a text, whatever it might be. So I've walked into the gym and I said to myself, okay, I'm half asleep, but it's like, all right, raise your vibration, bring it up, just bring that up, bring that up. And I found every single time I do that, I walk in, I'm not changing anything. It's not
Yes.
like I'm walking in with I just walk it
Right.
in. And I
Right.
find that random people who I see there all the time
Yes.
will pass me and they're like, hey, how you doing? Oh, how's it
Yes.
going? They
Yes.
they react to it. And it's nothing other than me thinking positivity because energy, we're transmitting. We're like little antennas transmitting that out, and people are picking that up. You feel the same?
Yes, it is. I do believe that. I used to well I still do, but I make it a effort to give someone a compliment. And I find that, and it's almost like a selfish kind of thing because good is coming back when you do good. Just be kind, like, but I make it a conscious effort to, if I see someone down, I'm like, oh, you look beautiful, but I don't lie now. I tell the truth, but do it with genuine, in a genuine way. And it always comes back. Yeah, I feel like if when you can shift where you're at, you'll reap the benefits of it, regardless of where you are.
Hmm. Sometimes easier said than done when you're going through things and there's, you know, scorn, challenges to get to that positive spot. But
Yeah.
do you find that once you've done it, you've practiced more positivity, that it's easier when this stuff happens, that it's easier to come back to center?
Yeah, because if you practice being aware in each situation, it'll be easier for you to be like, okay, um, what could I this is what I do. I'm like, what could I have done better? If especially if it's a situation where if there's a little conflict or the relationship or the vibe is just off, and I'm like, I'll step back and I'm like, okay, how could I have said this? What could I have done better? Kind of reassess how you were in the situation, in the space, whatever it is, and then move from there. But I do think it's everything does start with you, just
Mhm.
assessing where you're at before you move forward.
Tell me how energy has impacted your life, even recently.
Yes. So, like I said, this weekend was my birthday. It was my daughter's birthday yesterday. But so my husband and another business partner of mine, they were supposed to take a test and they both passed their test. But so like I was like, so a lot of good things kept happening for them besides the test. I was like, it's all that good energy from this weekend. I'm just telling you. So they're just like on a high, but I do believe it transfers. It transfers into every aspect, every other area of your life. So, if you feel good, you make somebody feel good, they're gonna then pass that on, and so on and so on. So,
Hmm. Do you feel it coming back to you if you do something positive, maybe helping somebody? I'm not saying that you should do that for
right.
it to come back, but do you see that happening?
Yeah, I do. And I think the opposite is also true, right? If you're not nice to someone or you're just being unkind in any way, I feel that will always it works both ways. It works both ways. But that's which is why I think practicing to be on the positive side of that is important because once you recognize how then it becomes easy. I feel life becomes easy after that. And I'm not saying, like you said, it's not something you can just wake up and do all the time. It's a practice. It's an ongoing practice of checking yourself, checking your thoughts, checking your behavior. But I do believe the more you engage in doing better and doing more, being positive, that will reciprocate.
Hmm. Well, I think number one, many of us, when something goes down, something happens, we go into the victim mode. Ah, I can't believe this happened. Ah, wow, wow. We're just programmed to be that way.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
automatic, but
yes.
that's not going to support you.
Yes.
Right?
It's crazy that most of our thoughts consciously are negative. It's funny. You have to practice the unconscious piece of it. It's crazy that that's a thing. But you're right. We tend to go into victim mode, but this is where growth and being aware comes in. You can say, okay, no, it's not happening to me. It's just a situation that's going on that I need to, figure out how to get past. Changing the vibration, changing the thought process, changing the behavior behind, the situation can definitely improve it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's happening for me and not to me.
Yes.
And if you look at it as there's a lesson in everything, you might not know the lesson right away.
Right.
And because many believe that the universe wants the best for you and things are happening for the best outcome for you, but
Yes.
you might not know it. You might not see it. It's the same thing as if, you're looking for a certain opportunity and then, well, I didn't ask for that. That showed up, but maybe that's the best one for you, but you don't see it at that moment. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. And yes, because the thing that when you get to that point when you can realize it's a for you and not a to you, trying to help someone get to that place too, that can be challenging because, like my son, now he's in a state where he feels like everything is happening to him. And I'm like, no, maybe this job wasn't for you. Or maybe, sometimes you got to take it. And then sometimes it's a time to reflect. You're like, okay, what's really going on, But I do believe in that. For my grandfather used to say a lot of times when we would try to rush into things or say something happens, we can't leave right away. He's like, you never know what God is preventing you from right now, what kind of tragedy or anything, whatever it is, just is happening for you. Your life is being spared, or, something could have been going on where the universe is like, not yet. You can't move.
Hmm.
So just be easy, stay calm, and just go with what's going on right now.
Well, like they say, go with the flow. So yes, it's just not that you're not going to be proactive, but you
Yeah,
can't fight it. Like if it's like
yeah,
you're in a river and you're going and now you're fighting the current. Good
yeah,
luck. Hey,
yeah,
hey, have fun with that because you're going to wind up going there anyway. And as I understand it, the universe, it's going to get you to here no matter
yeah.
what. So
Right.
you can just go with the flow. Things are going to present themselves. And if you start fighting it, it's just going to
Yeah,
take you longer. Eventually, you're winding up there anyway.
yeah.
It's where
We're
you're
just
going.
so used to wanting to be in control sometimes
Yeah.
that many times we just think if we can't control it, it's just not right. It's not going to happen right. It's yeah. So we just have to sometimes just let God do what He's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk, if we could, about your intuition and the gut feeling,
Yes.
because I think that lends itself to even to what your grandfather said, where if you're feeling something, maybe something inside of you, the universe is trying to tell you that not a good idea. You might want to hold off on that. And a lot of times logic comes in and you don't listen to what's inside and then you make a choice and maybe it's not the best choice. So
Yeah.
how do you know when you're getting a feeling that you should go with this in this direction?
Um, I think a lot of times we know, we just don't trust the knowing. And and that's a confidence thing too, in believing in ourselves and what we're feeling. So I was watching an interview. Oprah did an interview. I want to say it was a former either FBI or CIA individual. Now he was talking about, and I could be wrong on the individual that she was interviewing, but he spoke about how a lot of times, and I think in this case it was about women knowing when danger is close, and how because of our nature to nurture, we always try to, give, really basically give a pass. Like, so if I know it's that stranger danger thing, he
Hmm.
was like, trust your intuition. He was like, you always know when your palms are sweaty, when your armpits are sweating, when your body is vibrating like out of control, so that's why I said it's always, I think we know, but we don't trust ourselves enough to believe in the signals that our bodies give us. So it's another thing, is just trusting in those feelings, those, because we do have that sense. And ever since I've heard that, I started really trusting my body, trusting what it's telling me.
You know, there's a reason we're here. And the reason I believe we're here is because of the intuition.
Yes.
And back in cave person time,
Yes.
when they were getting a feeling like a pterodactyl was going to fly in or whatever, um, they were able to hear themselves because they didn't have all this technology, social media, paying the rent and, whatever to distract them. So that's what they piloted by. And I believe that they listened to the intuition. And that's
Yes.
because if they didn't, we probably wouldn't be here,
Yeah,
you know?
they had less distraction for sure. They had less distractions. We have to go research everything. We have to ask opinions, when we know the answer, but we just always seem to need validation. We need confirmation
Yep.
instead of just going with what we feel, what we're being, what's transmitted to us. I really do believe in that part.
I completely do too. And what you said before, I'm right there on that page. You know the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Everything I live by this phrase, all I need is within me now. All I
Yes.
need is within me now.
Yes.
Everything that we need here, the
Yes.
body, everything, your body can heal itself. It can do amazing things. Your mind can do amazing things. But to your point, Renee, we question it. We don't just go with what comes out. And I think a lot of times too, choice A, choice B. Which one do I pick? I don't
Yes.
know. Well, choice A, I'm getting choice A. It can't be that. It's too
Yeah.
easy. It's too easy.
Yeah, I get
No.
frustrated with too many choices too. I was like, oh my gosh, you gotta give me a choice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't, I don't even see them need to choose sometimes. But when we have so many things to choose from, that does play a part in our psyche. Like, it's harder to go with your first instinct because you're like, oh my God, okay, maybe that's not the right answer. Maybe I should go with this. Maybe I should go with that. So yeah, we just have too many things at our fingertips, too many choices, like you said. And then, like I said, we're always looking for some kind of confirmation, some kind of validation from someone when we already have it within us.
Hmm. Yeah. And I feel that when it's a lighter feeling, choice A, choice B,
Yeah.
the lighter, just comfortable, quick, but it's that. But like we're saying, you complicate it because you say there's no way that could be it. It's just too easy. We're
Yeah.
programmed to work hard, double
Yeah.
check, think, and also I believe evolution has put that in us to think even deeper to protect ourselves. You don't want to make the wrong choice, whereby this amazing intuition in all of us, it already gave you the answer. It was choice A. Go now. That's it. You're all good.
And I think we're also programmed to think everything has to be hard.
Totally.
That's one of the things I'm trying to deprogram, if that's a word, or reprogram
Yep.
that thought that it doesn't have to be hard, because like you said, sometimes the lighter choice, it just, we tell ourselves, oh, it can't be that easy. It's too good to be true, and we just take ourselves away from the fact that it can be that. So I'm trying to work into my psyche. It doesn't have to be hard. And I always question, like I'll question, why does this have to be hard? And you
Mm.
realize it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Do you think that comes from our ancestors, like, parents, grandparents, before that even, where they worked hard? That was the mentality. You have to work hard. You have to work hard. Maybe, going back to the Great Depression where everything fell apart and it's like work, 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 where it doesn't have to be that way,
Yeah,
you know?
I think to some degree it does, but even if you look at that, even with that thought process, and you look at how we are today with everything at our fingertips, I actually think that should be a decline in thought because we do have a lot more resources than
Right?
they did, right? I'm like, so they did a lot with a little, and we have a lot, and we're doing not much.
It's
So
harder than ever. It's all of
yes,
the
so it's like,
technology,
yeah.
all of
So
this,
I
it
I feel like we're
complicated it.
going backwards. Like, wait a minute.
Right. I
You know?
totally agree with you. It made things
Yeah,
harder. It
horses and
complicated.
buggies. We got a car, we got planes, and why? Why does this have to
Yep.
be so hard?
Yep.
So
To your point, like, you have to make a choice, so you research it. There's so many things to, look at online, connect
yeah,
with people, social media. What do you think? Should I go with A or should I go with B? I don't know. Meanwhile, again, back to the basics. This told you it's choice A. Just stop.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so overwhelming, so overwhelming. Yeah, but I do believe we should be on the other end of the spectrum compared to our ancestors because, like they did the hard for us. They did the hard. So why are we still doing hard?
Mm.
Why are we choosing? Because It's a choice. It's a choice to do hard.
I believe it's our lineage, it's our subconscious taking over that
Yeah.
wants to it's doing what it should be doing to protect us,
Yes. Yes.
but it's also hindering us or holding us back at the same time. And that's the fundamental of all of our challenges, from our childhood. Something that happened, you got bullied on the playground, now you're an adult. It's that is holding you back and you don't even know
Yes.
it because it's in your
Yes.
subconscious.
Yeah.
That's for a
I'm
whole other podcast.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah, it
Uh,
is.
I love how you're on the energy page, and I tell it to everybody. I don't know everything. I know a little bit, and everybody that I've studied with, from intuitives. And side note here, I've worked with some of the biggest psychic mediums on the planet, helped them launch their media careers, names you all know, like big people, and I've watched them and they are accurate. Yes, there's a lot of people out there that, it's,
Yeah,
but there are some that have something. 25 years of that. And I never really understood the whole energy thing. And until in the last couple of years,
yeah.
because I needed to, because I
Right,
needed to,
right.
came
I believe
clear.
it come to us when we're ready to receive it too.
Yep.
You know how sometimes things are presented to you like 10 years ago and something presented itself, but you weren't in a space to receive that. You didn't have the right energy to receive it. And when you're ready, in my case, I think when God says, okay, I think you can handle this, then it comes to you and you're better able to receive. Sometimes you just have to grow. Sometimes you just have more things that you have to experience before you can fully understand what's
For
taking
sure.
place.
How does that
Yeah.
go when the student is ready, the teacher shows up,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Mm.
Yes, exactly.
How do we connect with you if somebody, particularly women, and especially your niche is because you served many years in the military, helping women transition from the military to civilian life and all of that? How do they find you?
Most definitely on my website, which is reneajoneshudson.com. That's Renea joneshudson.com. And on social media, all my social links are at Renee Jones Hudson. So that's how they can find me.
Wonderful talking with you today, and I have to say you are good energy, without a doubt.
Thank you. You
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, thanks. All right, we'll catch up soon. Appreciate it.
Okay, awesome.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.